This slide presentation is about a proposed refurbishment of St Athanasius Church. Earlier this year, local architects John Russell Partnership were commissioned to provide ideas for the refurbishment of St Athanasius. This first slide shows the current layout of the church, which was extended and redeveloped in 1983 to accommodate the growth of the Catholic population in the late 1970s and early 1980s. The church, as it's currently laid out, can accommodate approximately 300 people, which includes 80 people in this transept area, which is highlighted with the arrow. This transept area, out with mainly the Christmas period or for large events, makes very limited use of the space which is available in the transept. If we take a look at this second slide, Father McGill has suggested that he would like to develop the transept, which is this area highlighted in the lilac colour. He would like to develop this transept into a multifunction area by replacing the pews with movable seating, constructing a folding wall along this area here, which would close off the transept when not in use. It would make use and make provision for a small oratory in this transept area, as and when required, and it would allow for parish meetings, for example prayer groups or spiritual groups, to meet within the church building but outside of the main nave of the church. This area in the transept should accommodate upwards of 80 people when the folding wall is opened back up and the individual seating is in place. It should be stressed that this area would not be in use when Mass or any other services are underway in the church. This next slide is looking at options for opening up the church entrance to become a brighter, more welcoming space. This area, highlighted in green, would replace the existing arrangements in the front of the church, where we currently have the shop and the accessible toilet and a small foyer welcoming area. The idea would be to remove the existing structural alterations, which would take down the current back wall of the church, which is of plasterboard construction and is not load-bearing. This would then reintroduce natural light from the stained glass windows, the large stained glass window in particular, which is above the main door, and allow light to flow into the church from the area currently occupied by the shop and the disabled toilet, both of which have stained glass windows. The outline plan would then be to create a double height, mainly glazed wall between the entrance and the church, flooding light into the church area itself. So this area highlighted would be replacing the existing structural wall, mainly glass, and allow light to flow in from the large stained glass window above the entrance of the church and the two stained glass windows at the side of the church entrance. There's also the possibility that with this area available, we could open up the area during daylight hours for private visits to the church without having to open the entire church building. In other words, this area could be a securely locked area, but allow visibility into the main church area for private visits. There would be some seating, movable seating placed in this area here. Moving on to the next slide, with the proposed changes to the transept, the area would be, this slide would be looking at redesigning the sanctuary area in line with the changes to the proposed multifunction area and the new church entrance. The sanctuary would be reduced in size and would be in line with the resulting shape, which would become almost a cruciform shape of the church. By that, it means we have a balanced area here and here when viewed from the centre aisle of the church. This change to the sanctuary area would also allow for the repositioning of a permanent baptistry, suggested possibly in this area here. The final slide in the presentation brings together all these ideas, brings together all the elements that I've just mentioned. I should say it's still very much at the feasibility and consultative stage, and we're waiting on detailed costings on the proposed changes. But here you can see in summary form the new transept area being turned into the multifunction facility, the larger welcoming area flooded with natural light and a double height ceiling, and a smaller redesigned sanctuary area in keeping with the cruciform shape of the church as proposed. Detailed diocesan discussions have still to take place, but it is hoped to have agreement to removing the pews from the transept area as a first stage to any proposed redevelopment. Finally, if the plans are ratified, it is likely that this will become a phased project over a period of time, possibly looking at a couple of years or more, and very much dependent on funding available and development grant support that could be available to us. Thank you.